Echoes of Goldome, a desert colossus. Frozen in time. The Mojave Desert stretches endlessly under a sky bleached white by the midday sun, its profound silence interrupted only by the faint whistle of wind threading through the jagged peaks of the New York mountains. Deep within the boundaries of the Mojave National Preserve, off a lonely stretch of Ivampa Road near the Nevada border, stands the Goldome Mill, an immense abandoned gold processing complex that once embodied the final surge of the modern American gold rush. The full scale of the facility unfolds in sweeping vistas, a sprawling industrial labyrinth of towering steel head frames, mile-long conveyor systems sagging under their own weight, massive concrete pads fractured by decades of extreme heat and frost, and row upon row of cylindrical tanks that once contained millions of gallons of cyanide solution. The entire complex spans hundreds of acres, a rust-colored monument dwarfed by the surrounding vast emptiness, yet still commanding the landscape like a derelict spacecraft marooned in an alien world. The story of Goldome begins in the late 1970s, when gold prices soared past $800 an ounce, igniting a wave of feverish investment across the American West. Prospectors and corporations rushed to revive old claims and develop new ones in the remote New York mountains. Among the most promising were the Vickers, Morning Star, and Gold Star groups, scattered mines whose ore would ultimately supply the ambitious new mill. Construction pushed forward rapidly, and by the early 1980s, the Goldome Mill, playfully named for the anticipated abnormal dome of gold, was completed as one of the most sophisticated facilities of its era. This was far removed from the crude stamp mills of the 19th century. Goldome was engineered for high-volume, high-efficiency production. Primary crushers designed to devour entire truckloads of raw ore. Secondary and tertiary crushers reducing rock to gravel. Enormous rotating ball mills lined with steel balls that ground material into a fine slurry. Banks of froth flotation cells where chemicals isolated gold-bearing sulfides from waste. And finally, expansive carbon and pulp circuits and sprawling heap leach pads, where dilute cyanide solutions dissolve the precious metal from crushed rock. At its peak, the mill processed hundreds of tons of ore each day. Shift workers occupied temporary camps nearby. Heavy haul trucks thundered along dusty roads. Diesel generators roared through the night. For a brief, vibrant period, the desert reverberated with the clamor of industry and boundless optimism. The ruins reveal intimate details of decay, elevated conveyor belts frozen in place, the towering framework of the primary crusher building, shadowed interiors where control panels still display faded labels and dangling wires. Dust lingers perpetually in the air, and every surface bears a thick coat of the fine reddish grit that the desert relentlessly deposits. Yet beneath the technological achievement lay persistent difficulties. The ore grades proved consistently lower than early assays had promised. Recovery rates fell short of expectations. Operating costs escalated dramatically in such an isolated location. Water had to be trucked in from distant sources, power generated on site, and skilled workers recruited from far-off cities. When gold prices plummeted in the late 1980s and remained depressed for years, profitability vanished. Regulatory pressures intensified as well. The area's inclusion in the newly established Mojave National Preserve in 1994 imposed stricter environmental controls. By 1998, operations ceased entirely. Equipment was partially salvaged, buildings stripped of anything resaleable, and the site was simply abandoned, left to the mercy of the elements and the slow, relentless process of decay. The ground-level view captures the intimate textures of abandonment. Footsteps crunching across shattered safety glass, the metallic groan of corrugated siding shifting in the wind, sun-bleached warning signs still cautioning about cyanide hazards, and long deactivated high-voltage equipment. Empty control rooms gaze back with rows of silent gauges and switches. Graffiti from generations of urban explorers and off-road adventurers covers the walls, some intricate and artistic, some crude and fleeting, all bearing witness to the site's peculiar magnetism as a contemporary ruin. Nearby, sealed mine portals and collapsed adits suggest the underground networks that once fed the mill, tunnels blasted deep into the mountains chasing veins that ultimately delivered too little. The environmental aftermath persists. The vast heap leach pads, once towering piles of crushed ore continuously sprayed with chemical solutions, have largely eroded back into the desert floor, but lingering contamination placed Goldome on the EPA's Superfund list. Remediation efforts have proceeded slowly and incompletely, leaving the site in a state of suspended animation, neither fully restored to nature nor thoroughly clean. At sunset, long shadows stretch across the complex, transforming rusted steel into glowing orange and bathing the entire mill in a warm, almost nostalgic light. The wind strengthens, carrying fine sand across open platforms and through shattered windows. Ravens wheel overhead, their harsh calls echoing off silent tanks. Goldome endures today as one of the most striking examples of late 20th century industrial abandonment in the American West, a facility constructed with advanced technology and unbridled confidence, only to be humbled by market forces, geological reality, and the desert's profound indifference. It is a place where the boundary between progress and hubris dissolves, where human ambition confronts the immutable limits of nature, and where silence has reclaimed what once rang with noise and greed. In the end, the Mojave always prevails. The mill will continue to rust, crumble, and gradually yield its sharp edges to wind and sand, until, centuries hence, only faint traces may remain. But for those who visit today, drone pilots, photographers, historians, or curious travelers, the Goldome Mill offers a powerful, haunting testament. Dreams of gold may shimmer eternal, but in this unforgiving land, they seldom last. Thanks for exploring with me. Stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next abandoned dream. Now go smash that like and subscribe button before the Mojave reclaims this moment too.